Nowadays, it's really easy to take photos and videos with your phone. So easy, in fact, that I think it'd be more cheaper for you to take a photo with your phone than to go out and do a photo shoot. At the same time, I think there is a lot of work that goes into photography and videography that just gets overshadowed because of the fact that it's so easy to take a photo or video with your phone. All you have to do nowadays is just point your phone anywhere, and then you can upload it to Snapchat, Instagram, YouTube. I think it would be good to highlight a few reasons why photography is a honest profession. I myself work for a company called Touch, and I am a photographer. I used to believe that photography was kind of not necessarily useless, but it's like I figured photography was super easy, like all you had to do was push and click a button. But after working as a photographer for 9 months now, I've definitely realized that there's a lot of work that goes into it. In this video, I'm going to vouch for photography's professionalism by focusing on its aspects of dedication, artistic perspective, and attention to detail. Photography takes an immense amount of dedication. I work for Touch, which is an American-based photography company where we take picture day school photos. I had my interview for the company back in October of last year. When I went in for my interview, I was told that the job was going to entail people skills, early mornings, and long drives. Now I know long drives aren't necessarily equivalent to all photo shoots, but making time for going out to do photo shoots while also having another job takes a good deal of dedication. I was pretty nervous when I first heard that this job was going to entail that much dedication, because at first, like I said, I figured photography is just a push of a button. I thought it was super easy. I remember the first day that I went to do a photo shoot, it made me nervous again just because of how intense it is. You have 6 seconds to connect with a subject and take a photo and then just keep it moving. But even in those 6 seconds, you have to make sure you have the right lighting, the correct thing to say, and know how to pose the subject. Even setting things up and getting those right angles aren't easy to do without experience in photography, which most people that take photos with their phone don't really have. They don't have that experience of, those little details. And the amount of paperwork that goes into taking photography as a part-time or full-time job, it's a lot of paperwork. It's a lot of dedication. If you fast forward from October to March of this year, I had my first job by myself. And by myself, I mean I was literally by myself, meaning nobody to help me. And I was ready for it. For the sake of being honest, I was able to call somebody from the school's telephone line, so I wasn't really by myself, but that was really the only help I had. But I ran into almost every problem that I could have had. I had a router go out on me, I had my light not work, I had no internet connection, which is important for uploading photos. I had a principal getting upset with me for something I couldn't really help with. It was a nightmare, but I really enjoyed it. And moreover, I had a greater respect for photography after that day. There are these obstacles that photographers have to come over on a weekly basis. You gotta have dedication to drive an hour early in the morning and deal with people that are gonna get mad at you regardless of if you want to or not. My second argument for the professionalism of photography is the attention to detail. It is so important that you're paying attention to every little thing, every little element in a photo, because you may not notice it when you look at a really good photo. There are elements in a photo that your brain subconsciously sees that if you weren't a photographer, you probably wouldn't notice them. You could take the best looking person on the planet or a super cool object, and you could take a very crappy photo of it if you don't have the attention to detail. Or you could have just taken a better photo if you knew how to pay attention to detail like a photographer would. One aspect that smartphones take away from the photography experience today is lighting and focus. And that's honestly, I say one aspect, but that's really the main aspect. Only recently have I just started to learn how to use f-stop, ISO, and shutter speed. Again, if you weren't a photographer, you wouldn't notice the difference between these details. If I were to hand you a camera that you've never used a camera before in your life, you'd think, oh, this is easy, right? I just push the button. And unless you're using a preset on the camera, which again doesn't require much work, you're probably not going to get a great photo, or at least not the best photo that you could get. If you're taking a photo on a phone, it does all that hard work for you, but it only does that work to a certain degree. You're only going to get good lighting and good focus to a certain degree. With a photo or a video camera, you've got to know how to operate that thing. It's very difficult, and it requires a lot of just experience. And operating a camera requires some bit of experience. You got to be able to look at your monitor and know that this photo is too noisy, it's too dark, it's too blown out, or it's a little bit out of focus. I gotta zoom in, I gotta zoom out, I gotta step back, etc., etc., etc. You gotta be able to know the angle at which you've gotta snap a picture. And it wasn't something I realized that I had to do. I figured all I could do was zoom in and zoom out, but there are way better angles that you can hit from different distances from your subject and different millimeters of zoom. And I only learned that because of the fact that I've just been working for a company that does photography. If you don't have knowledge like a photographer does, you more than likely aren't going to get to capture all of the elements in a photo as best as you could. My third argument for photography's professionalism is the artistic eye. And this is a pretty short argument, but very much a real one. A really good photographer can take something very mundane and turn it into something that evokes emotion. You can take photos from 50 years ago and just see how timeless they are. You have to ask yourself, like, how did they take this? This is really well done. VJ Day, lunch atop a skyscraper. Even the cover for Abbey Road is a great photo that is timeless and has just been seen in many different forms today. All these different photos were worked out with the eye of an artist. The timing that goes into taking a good photo is good as well. Like, even like taking picture day school photos, you can have a smile, but you can also have like a forced smile, which isn't genuine. Like, you can have a non-connection with the subject. A really good photographer has to be able to snap that picture as soon as it hits. Their artistic eye has to go off in their mind and say, hit it, hit the button. The photographer is able to capture a moment within time that's really small, a minuscule moment in time, and maneuver people and things to get a really good frame that you can hold in your hand. Today, the photographer doesn't get a lot of credit simply because their profession is based around something that we do every day in our lives. I didn't make this video to diss on smartphone cameras and people that take photos with phones. I wanted to encourage anyone that views this just to consider the difference between a selfie that you took in a bathroom mirror versus a piece of artwork that requires dedication to the craft, attention to detail, and an artistic perspective. That's all I got. Bye!